Hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here today to talk about one of the most trusted and reliable assessment solutions, MAP Growth. Now, before I get started, I'd like everyone to take a look into their past, into their elementary journey as a student. Was there a standard or a skill that you may have wanted a little bit more time with, but didn't realize it until the end of the year assessment? Wow, that was me too. Children learn better and faster when teachers have a clear picture of what students know and how they are growing academically. My name is Stephnie Sahadeo, and I am here to share a brief overview with you on MAP growth and the benefits of MAP growth to the students and the teachers during the educational journey. MAP Growth is an interim responsive computer-based assessment for students in grades kindergarten through 12th grade. Students can take the MAP Growth in math, reading, language usage, and science. This is a computer-based assessment or test that is taken up to 3 times a year, typically the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. This allows teachers to get a clear snapshot of how the students are doing and often and early enough to adjust their lesson plans as needed. This sure would have helped us in our educational journey. Students can't ace the assessment, even if they're answering the questions well beyond their grade level correctly. The MAP growth is a test that students don't get graded on, doesn't go on their report card, and they can neither get a pass nor a fail. However, the score is used as a growth marker for the school year and beyond. Imagine that, a growth marker, something that would indicate if we needed more assistance or scaffolding in a specific standard or skill. MAP growth is a computer adaptive test. A computer adaptive test or assessment is a method for administering tests that adapt to a student's ability level. The difficulty of this test tailors itself to the student's achievement level. The first time a student takes a computer adaptive assessment, the pool of available items is searched for an item based on a student's current achievement estimate. If your child or student answers a question correctly, and the next question will be more challenging. If the student answers the question incorrectly, the next one will be easier. This type of assessment challenges top performers without overwhelming students whose skills are below the current grade level. There are many advantages to an adaptive assessment. You can administer tests on demand and scores are available immediately. Tests are individually paced, potentially reducing one source of testing anxiety. Test security is increased because there are no hard books or booklets. Students spend less time testing because significantly fewer items are needed to perform and receive uniform, precise scores. And lastly, adaptive assessments can provide accurate scores across a wide range of abilities, rather than the traditional tests being paper pencil, only predicting an average student. So now that we know a little bit about the adaptive assessment, let's talk about some of the benefits that reap after the assessment has finished. The zone of proximal development, ZPD, is the difference between what a student can do independently and what they can do with targeted assistance or feedback or scaffolding. Vygotsky coined this term to describe the level where instruction is most beneficial for each student, just beyond the current level of their independent capability. Instruction focused within each student's ZPD is neither too difficult nor too easy. It is just challenging enough to help them develop new skills by building on those that have already been established. Students are the most receptive to instruction within their ZPD because it represents the next logical step in their ongoing skill development. As children learn and grow, so does their ZPD. The map growth can help you to understand what students know and what they're ready to learn next. Teachers can use their RIT score to help determine a student's ZPD, which will in turn help teachers plan more targeted instruction for whole group, small group, and on an individual student basis. The idea is that in order for teaching and learning to be effective, instruction should focus on skills and knowledge that are attainable for students with constant scaffolding and feedback. Let's look into how a teacher can find a student's ZPD using their RIT score. Map growth uses an RIT or RIT scale to accurately measure what students know, regardless of their grade level. It also measures growth over time, allowing you to track your students' progress throughout the year and across multiple school years to come. Once your student completes the map growth test, they receive a RIT score. Now remember, this score is not a pass or fail, but used as a progress marker. This score represents a student's achievement level at any given moment and helps measure their academic growth over time. This is the number that will help the teachers in tailoring and adjusting their lesson plans. The RIT scale is a stable scale, like feet and inches, that accurately measure student performance, regardless of age, grades, grade level. Like marking height on a growth chart and being able to see how tall your student is at the various points in time, you can also see how much they have grown in between their tests. Whether measuring height or student achievement, one defines growth as the change in the attribute between 2 points. If my daughter was 39 inches on her fourth birthday and 42 inches on her fifth birthday, then she grew 3 inches during that year. So for her 1 year's worth of growth was 3 inches because that's how much she grew during the year. If she produced a math score of 140 on her fourth birthday and a 160 on her fifth birthday, she would have shown 20 RIT points of growth. So for her 1 year's growth, it was worth 20 RIT points because that's how much she grew during the year. The higher the RIT score, the more achievement the student has in that subject. Being that the RIT score measures a student's level of achievement in a particular subject, if a student has a particular RIT score, this means that the student is about 50% likely to correctly answer an item calibrated at that RIT level. Thinking back to the zone of proximal development, which shows that the student is in that sweet spot of needing a little bit more scaffolding to be able to be independently capable of answering that question correctly. The NWEA reports contain normative data from our norm study that help put the RIT score into context by connecting RIT scores to achievement percentiles. You can find the percentile ranking for a particular RIT score on most reports, allowing you to compare a student's RIT score with other students in the same grade and the same subject. The map growth normative data allows educators to compare achievement status and changes in achievement status, which is growth, to students' performance in the same grade at a comparable stage of the school year or across 2 test events within or across school years. Normative data help you see if students are growing at an expected pace, regardless of where a student started. The NWEA normative data allows you to make predictions about what kind of growth is typical and atypical. Well-constructed test score normative data can inform many education-related activities. Educators can make use of map growth norms in many ways, including evaluating student achievement and growth, individualizing instruction, setting achievement and growth goals for students or groups of students in the school, and supporting conversations about the academic patterns. In conclusion, map growth is great to progress monitor, as well as to data track. The RIT score helps teachers to identify common opportunity areas across an entire class, provide a starting point for high-quality formative assessments, inform instructional planning, help guide decisions about appropriate scaffolding strategies, leading back to a student's zone of proximal development, set growth goals with students, and connect to instructional resources aligned to the student's RIT score. Using the MAP growth assessment as part of a comprehensive and balanced assessment plan, teachers can confidently tailor instruction to challenge every student, whether they are below, at, or above grade level. The MAP growth student reports also present realistic learning goals by subject areas so that through a teacher's guidance, students can individually see their progress and be inspired to take charge of their own learning. Thank you so much for your time today.